It's a humble frying pan which you can use in your home or somebody use in your home, or it's used in a commercial kitchen. Commercial kitchen will be probably slightly bigger or more sturdy. And no, I'm not going to sell it to you. It's not my business. So if I can show you, that's what I'm going to talk about. But before we go deep into my presentation, let me tell you why I'm showing the saucepan, or the frying pan actually. I have two stories to share with you. One is my personal story, and the second it's from the commercial kitchen. But let's start with the personal story. So about 15 years ago, I was at work. My wife was preparing a dinner using one of those, and in our cuisine we very often use oil, cooking oil. And I guess many of you can imagine where I'm going to. So when you have a frying pan and a cooking oil, you can have a perfect meal or a disaster. So the scenario was like that. Our daughter was just a small baby at that time. She was sleeping. My wife was cooking a dinner using this one. The baby wake up, started to cry, and my wife was in a panic mode because the cry was quite loud. So she left the kitchen unattended with the frying pan with oil on it and something on it as well, and rushed to the baby. When she was down, after a few minutes, the whole kitchen was full of black smoke. Because we have the kitchen door, there was no smoke escaping, but the kitchen was dark, completely zero visibility. Luckily, my wife was trained, not by me. She was trained at her work that you never ever put the water on the frying pan when there's a fire on it. That saved our house. The kitchen was not damaged, the house was not damaged. We lost one blanket, and we have to repaint the ceiling in the kitchen. That's my personal story about the frying pan. But today I'm not going to talk about the dwellings and the kitchen homes, which, for example, in UK, they really contribute to a very large number of dwelling houses. Today I would like to focus on the commercial kitchen, and that's why I would like to introduce you to Jose. Jose is a commercial chef. I mean, he's a very good chef working in a very good restaurant. His food is delicious. The problem of Jose is that the owner of the establishment is really trying to cut the corners on everything. So you can see in the background that maybe some of the cooking equipment is not the top quality. And you can imagine that the owner of the restaurant, when it was built, was cutting the cost and the corners on how the restaurant was designed and how it was constructed. The problem was that even the extraction system, which is the must in any commercial kitchen, was really not up to the standard, the cheapest possible. Because what's the problem? It's just a piece of steel pipe you attach to the hood, it will do the job. Unfortunately, Jose quite often liked to cooking with open fire. And you can guess what happened next. So if the flames are pulled into the exhaust system, and in theory, nothing should happen. But the problem is, as I said, the owner of the restaurant was cutting corners also in the maintenance. So let me pause for a minute and explain what happens in during the commercial kitchen operation. So they use either animal or vegetable fats. The fat oil turns into liquid, or sorry, it's liquid or turns into liquid if it's animal fat. Most of this fat is used during the cooking. Some of this fat is evaporated to get being extracted, and after a while deposit on the kitchen ducting system. Due to the confidentiality reason, I cannot share with the pictures what you can find inside those ducts. This is just beautiful empty duct, but normally there's lots of deposit of soot. So soot and more importantly, grease in various forms. If they're using wok, like in Asian kitchen, there's another grease buildup. If they're using the solid fuel for some fancy restaurants, it's lots of soot and grease together, and it's really look very, very ugly. But it's not the appearance, it's our concern. So if there is lots of grease inside, deposited, and it's not maintained, I mean, strictly speaking, it's not clean on a regular basis, when you have a situation that the extract system pulls some of the flames from the cooking process into it, we have a fire inside this duct. The duct gets hot, and remember, there's a fan at the end which pulls the whole flames into the fan. The duct gets very hot in a very quick amount of time. And as a result, all the combustibles which are, let's say the duct is going above the ceiling or in the attic or whatever it's, but somewhere we don't see it, this is really leading to the tragedy. And that was the tragedy of this restaurant where Jose used to work. But nobody dies, but the restaurant is really lost. And you would be surprised. I have the data from UK and USA only. I'm sorry, I don't have the data from this region. But for example, in USA, we're talking about 7,000 to 8,000, depending on the year, restaurant fires per year. There is not so many tragic, let's say, fatalities of those events, but the problem are the commercial losses. Because the restaurant is usually in a building which have different establishments. It's not only the restaurant itself. The same applies to any commercial kitchen in a hotel, in a care home, or any place where the food is cooked more often and not on those small frying pan, but something bigger. So let me now explain what I'm doing for a living before I give you the message of this presentation. So I'm an arsonist. I really do burn things for a living. And even better, I lead a team of about 15 people like myself, and we burn things for a living on a daily basis. We do it within legal framework, so I'm not doing anything illegal. We getting paid for that in a proper, correct, legal way. So basically, I work in the fire testing laboratory. And I'm not going to promote my laboratory. Of course, I would be very happy if you come to us. But what my key message from this presentation today is, so there are two. The ducting system in any commercial restaurant, it's so important you wouldn't imagine, because you think it's a steel pipe and that's just whatever you will do. But I wanted to show you an example from our laboratory of a square system, of a square duct. This is fire-resistant duct. So basically you can see the top view, how it looks before the fire test. At the end, this is a system which obviously failed the test. The steel grade or a thickness wasn't good enough. There was not enough reinforcement, so it collapsed completely. Now imagine that if that is that's your beloved restaurant, you're going in here or elsewhere, you're looking for your food hygiene rating. How is the restaurant evaluated by the authorities? But many of you here are the designers or architects or consultants or project specificators who design which new project in this kingdom going to happen or being built and what are the specifications. So my message for today is, using non-listed or not tested and certified, like we say, for example, in Europe, system can really lead to a tragedy or a profound commercial loss on a later stage. Because there is a practice to use, for example, in the food establishment, welded on-site ducts, which are all very thin metal, like 1 millimeter, where the code saying 1.6 is the minimum, or gauge 16 in the American system. But the ideal solution is to have a system which has been tested and certified. So then you have a confidence that in something happens, then this system should not spread the fire to the rest of the building. That's one message. So tested and certified system. But there's a second message. For those who are more in the facility maintenance, I'm not sure if you're aware that the kitchen extract system should be inspected and tested regularly, so we don't have the situation with hose. For example, if the restaurant or kitchen establishment is a commercial one is using solid fuel, like in some fancy restaurants, the duct system should be tested once a month. Cleaned and inspected once a month, as per an FPA. If we're talking about a commercial restaurant which operates really on a heavy-duty cycle, like almost 24 hours a day, every 3 months. But any other restaurant, not heavy duty, should have the ducting system inspected and cleaned from the grease residue every 6 months. So if your responsibility
covers facility maintenance or your specificator for a new building, please keep that in mind, that we don't see this grease in those ducting system, but there are really numerous cases of restaurants worldwide, small and big, being lost because of what's there. And my last point, you may say, okay, most of the new restaurants have the automatic suppression systems, or should have at least. That's correct. But be aware that the greasing buildup is really prohibiting those systems from work. So if they're not inspected and cleaned on a regular basis, you can have the best specified suppression system in this ducting. It won't work. Just it will cover in grease. So please do remember, tested and certified or listed system is really a must for any new establishment. And then regular maintenance, which is basically as simple as cleaning those ducting by professional companies, is a second message from my presentation. So thank you very much. I hope I didn't take too much time and you can enjoy your lunch after the next session. Thank you.